Okay, in this example we're going to look at a simple engineering change and release workflow that we've created. Let's open a part, an example part. This is a simple component. It's a spindle. Let's just take a look at the actual component so that we can see what we're talking about. In this case, we've just installed the free JT2Go viewer from Siemens. You can configure Aras for pretty much any viewer. So this is the part that's going to be subject to change. So what we're now going to do, we're going to add the component, in this case to a release. That brings up an engineering change and release form. We're using the same form for engineering change and release. Save the form. This gives the change a unique number, and then we add some information to the change form itself. In this case, we're doing initial release on the spindle. These forms, we can configure these forms to look however we need them to look, with appropriate fields, etc. We're going to ask that the release be handled as a fast track release with a high priority. Then we save that engineering release, and what happens next is it puts the engineering release into my own in basket, where I can then from there I can send it to my manager for authorization. So the ECO is here ready to go. And we can right mouse button and we can view the change or release again, just to check that it's how we expect it to be. We can see at the bottom there the part that we are expecting to release, and then we double click on the blue icon and it brings up the workflow menu. So we vote to submit. We can add some comments for the next person in the workflow. And then when we hit complete, it goes into review. Now in this example, I've got all the engineering, I've got the release workflow coming back to me so that I don't have to log in several times. What we're seeing here now is the workflow. We can view the workflow and see how far along the workflow is at any point. So in this case I'm now pretending to be the manager. Again, I can go and take a look at the form, make sure that it's correct, and if I'm happy that the release is correct, then depending on how you set the workflow up, you can approve. In this case, I'm going to do a fast track approval. That will send it to the that will cut out many of the steps in the release workflow and send it straight to the design team to release and check the drawings. So the workflow has now been set up to update any drawings and documentation associated with the release. We put a check task into the workflow. Here's the workflow again. We can see now that we fast-tracked the workflow when we were at the last step in the process. We can view all the sign-offs, everybody that's interacted with this particular release, so we get full traceability over the decision-making process. And finally, we're going to having checked the documents, we're now going to vote complete, and the release is finished, and the engineering change has gone out of my in basket. So now going back to the part, going back to the spindle, we can see that its status has changed to release. We can open the part form again, and we can see again that the item has been released. Its status has changed. Just a quick look at the actual engineering change and release. It's still accessible, but it's the actual release has finished, and the status of the engineering change and release item has also been updated to release. So the process is complete.